Hi guys. So I'm back with another video. Um Today I'll be talking about my life as a parent to a disabled child, my daughter Chastity, and my life as a CNA in a hospital. Um I've been a CNA for over 15 years, right? So, and I just finished my last contract out at one of the hospitals here in Houston. And as you notice, if you watch my first video, I was talking about pandemic burnout. So eventually I became burned out as a CNA. And like I said, I'm also a mom to a disabled teenager. Um, so what happened eventually when I ended my contract, I just decided not to come back with everything going on for almost 2 years. And with the pandemic and COVID kind of rearing its ugly head up again and more people getting sick, I just kind of decided to tap out. Um, Very stressful, very overwhelming, and just not enough energy when I came home for my own child, being that she has so many needs that needed to be met. Right, I was meeting everybody else's needs at the hospital, and I found that when I came home, I wasn't able to meet my own daughter's needs, and it's definitely a concern about getting sick and bringing germs home to your own family and to my daughter because she's disabled. You know, she's high risk, even though all of us are vaccinated. And plus, my kids got their booster. I haven't gotten my booster yet, but everybody in this household is vaccinated. But still, people still get sick. And I think my last time working, my last day working, multiple people had already gotten sick. People like employees were calling off. Not only were people coming in sick, but there was a shortage. And let's talk about hospital shortages and nursing home shortages and just an everywhere shortage in the medical field. A lot of people have been quitting. A lot of people have been getting sick. A lot of people have been finding other things to do because it's so high risk at this time. Nobody wants to take that risk. And when there is a shortage in a hospital, everything falls off on the people that are eventually left behind or the people that are there, that are left there. So I just felt the need to remove myself out of that environment for this time because I was indeed burnt out and I was overworked and I was just tired. And I don't think it was fair um, to my family at the time it was going on. Um, Being a CNA could be a wonderful career. It is a wonderful career, but I think at this time, everybody from the doctors to the nurses to the CEOs of hospitals and nursing homes and other healthcare facilities and businesses, I think everybody is stressed out at this time because we are all stretched to our limits, right? Um, but it is a wonderful career if you're interested in helping others because that is the job. They have so many people that come in sick they can't do for themselves, elderly people, but including others. I worked in a trauma hospital, so it wasn't just elderly people. I saw all types of people from age 0 to 99, all types of trauma, um, you know, and all types of broken bones. I mean, you name it, I saw it. And these people needed all types of assistance, but I just mentally and physically, I was no longer in a headspace to do what needed to be done for them, to help them. And I felt like I wasn't able to help my own family. So I just didn't sign another contract with my agency. And traveling and agency work, as you guys know, it is very popular right now in the healthcare field. But I started traveling and working with agencies, I want to say back in 2017. I took my first traveling job, had never heard of it. I felt like I was in a rut, and I was working in between, like maybe part time, stay at home mom, but at the same time, I didn't feel fulfilled. I wasn't happy with where I was at. I wanted to make more money, and I wanted to move me and my kids out of our current environment. So I did take on a traveling job at that time. That was my first experience with traveling as a CNA, and it really opened me up to different experiences in different environments. And it seems like it's even more popular now, especially since COVID is around, with all of the different states needing more help and them having all types of shortages. The hospital is very, very short at this time. The nursing home, and like I said, all other healthcare facilities, everybody is short because people are getting sick and help is needed. But when you go in to help, and if you take those jobs, being that they are paying very good money, but just remember that they're going to be short staffed. So if you go in, and this has happened to me, if you go in as a CNA or a nurse or whatever you are, like for me as a CNA, if they are supposed to have 2 to 3 techs on the floor, imagine going in and there's like 15 patients and you're the only one on the floor. So that's the type of stuff that is happening now with the pandemic. Or imagine being a charge nurse, and at the same time you're being a charge nurse, you have to take on 6 patients. If you hear noise and screaming, that's my daughter. She's nonverbal, but she still vocalizes. Um, but yeah, so that's what I was dealing with. Then I had to come home and deal with my daughter who needs like assistance, right? So it's still like you have to do help her 99.9% of the time. So I felt like I was leaving work to come home and work. So I was leaving work to come and work, and I felt like something was lacking, and I didn't want it to lack in my home setting. You know, I didn't want anything to lack in my home setting. So I'm taking a break. Do I know what I'm going to do right now? Absolutely not. But I know what I don't want to do. And what I don't want to do is healthcare. Just totally burnt out on healthcare. Before the pandemic, the hospitals were short. I don't know if you guys know that, but if you are a healthcare worker, you know you should be very familiar with them being short staffed. And this is really no surprise to those that work in healthcare. I know you like a lot of you guys, if you never worked in healthcare before, you're like, well, before the pandemic, everything was fine and all. No, absolutely not. Nurses were burnt out before the pandemic. CNAs were burnt out before the pandemic. Other healthcare workers were burnt out before the pandemic. Healthcare has never been an easy job. I'm here to tell you. I don't know if anybody told you the truth, but I'm here to tell you the truth. It has never been an easy job. The turnover rate has always been extremely high, especially for CNAs, and now especially for nurses. I mean, I have worked with good nurses hand in hand. And when I tell you nurses quit as much as CNAs quit now, it is really a tough job, you guys. I mean, I see new nurses quitting. Like, it is not for the weak at heart, and you don't even care how much money you make once you get burnt out and tired. It is just too much. And I've learned to like not, because I used to love, I worked 12-hour shifts, but I used to love picking up additional shifts. No, absolutely not. It burnt me out. So I would just, if I were you, and if you have to do 12s and you have a family to come home to, especially if one of your kids are disabled, I would absolutely just do the minimum. I mean, just do the minimum, because you have to have something to give back to your own family. And I feel right now everything is just going crazy, right? And it's affecting your mental and your physical. I remember the first time, I think we got hit with the pandemic. What was it? Was it 2020? Yeah, I think it was 2020, March 2020. So you guys, I was working at a hospital then, and I just like stopped in March because I was so afraid. At the age of 42 years old, I have never experienced a pandemic before. Never. So I was petrified. I didn't work from March of that year all the way up until October or November. And I just went, I took like a travel assignment just to get my money up, just to have some extra funds for I believe for the holiday time for my kids. But I was petrified, like no, and I was afraid for my kids too, because during that time they shut down everything. The kids were at home doing online school, and even they were having a hard time. My son hated online school because he said he wasn't getting assistance. He said it was harder. I don't know if it was the way they had everything set up, but he definitely said that they made everything harder. So he said it was harder to learn for him. He would turn work in, and he was constantly getting emails saying that the work hadn't been turned in. You know, it was stressing the poor kids out. You know, I think this whole time everybody is pretty much stressed out and need a break, definitely mentally. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm not going back to the hospital at this time. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I've only been off for like, this is my first week off, actually. This is my first week off. My last day was the first. So this will be like my first whole week off. And I feel like I'm still recuperating. So I don't think it's just a physical thing, it's mental also. And then the stuff that I have to do at home for my daughter. You know, when you stay at home with your kids and you have a family, it's you still working, you still have to take care of your family. So it's still consistent, you know? So just trying to get a break in when I can, trying to, get my mental right. And to all of you in the healthcare field and who is dealing with this and who have to deal with burnout, just take care of yourselves, you know. Don't work in toxic environments. If you're sick, don't go to work. Your families need you. Your families need you. If you can help it, just take care of yourself. Exercise, de-stress, do what it is you have to do. Put yourself first, because this right now for healthcare workers is really rough, guys. I know the money is good, the money is very good, but at the end of the day, it's not worth it if you have to burn yourself out. You know, you it's not worth burning yourself out, because the hospital is going to always be there, the patients is going to be there, but you could become a patient if you don't take the proper steps to take care of yourself physically and mentally. Okay, so this is where I am now, not going back to the hospital and just focusing in on my daughter that is disabled. So, to make sure everything is okay with her and my son, you know. Um, and that's it, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.